I decided to kind of do an outlook to kind of show you how I actually gauge the market. Now, let's just say we up on this trade here, right? And you can see where I'm up here. The today's P&L, 9,000, a little over 9,000. We had a little more, but I ended up giving it back. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and mark off my break even per se. We can take profit as well, but we're just going to use this account here for, you know, um, teaching purposes here. Show you how I'm able to actually scale the markets, look for pullback. As you can see, I actually got into this trade right about here when I noticed we had the rejection from the 50 here. So I slightly got into it. And the stop loss is right here, as you can see. Okay, the stop loss is, I use either level. We could have used a lower high for right here, right here, right here. It just really depends on your preferences. I don't too much look at like what's the risk to reward. I just kind of scale the market when I'm looking at the play. So we hit a rejection here, damn near oversold, not so much, but we had a rejection here, not so much of an oversold, but what I noticed is that this was a higher high. Okay, if we look at that lower high, there's a lower high. This did not surpass that high, that lower high. So this giving me a high high. So that's pure market structure. So I'm going to get into the trade and take the trade. Now, let's just say you're trading this and you say, hey, can I get into the trade? I'm going to show you how I use these EMAs to look for pullbacks based off that trend directional. Now, what I would simply do is scale to the 1 minute. Like I said, I always be scaling in time frame, but once you get used to it, it will start clicking. And then this is where I'll come back and just look for entries. As you can see, I got in here. We had another slight entry here simply because we had a higher high, right? Not so much a pullback from the EMAs because we're on a 1 minute time frame. So it's going to be a little different. But we had a higher high. We entered in the market and we're riding it back. Now, if I wanted to scale this particular trade, as far as like, hey, where do I put my stop loss so I won't lose the profit or I break even or I just want to stay in the trade as much as I can, I use the EMAs. Okay, I'm going to show you how I scale these trades and kind of try to scale them to the max. All right. So what I like to do is I like to look at the EMAs for pullback, specifically the 5 and 13. The 5 is the red, the 13 is the yellow. Now, if the market respects or rejects these areas, just telling me, hey, we may have potential room for continuation to the upside. So if I wanted to just kind of scale this trade, like what I would do is actually scale it using market structure, of course, looking like for like just little small support areas here in this particular case, or resistance. Looking for small support and resistant areas within the market, but at the same time, just kind of looking at the moving averages. Are we respecting, rejecting the moving averages? If we are, I'm just going to scale it. So in this case, like the most I can go here on this, I would say is right above, right beneath the yellow. Okay, because then market could come back here, reject this area, and then continue up, and you don't want it to knock you out. But mainly, that's what I have for you. So that's how I use the EMAs. Very simple. Just basically looking at the EMAs for directionals, looking at the EMAs for my entry based off rejections, looking at the EMAs, believe it or not, for stop loss areas, like in this case, if you use 200, looking for the EMAs in some case as take profit areas as well. There you have it, 101 ticks as well. This is so far the current high of the day. Now, it may reject here, it may continue up, but this is how I scale it with the EMAs. Guys, if you have any questions about this strategy, just drop them below. As well, you can check out the products that we have at chartingcash.com. I'll see you guys on the next one.